And we're back with even more predictions of Nintendo at E3 2018. Now, if you missed part 1, we already covered Smash Brothers entirely. We covered way too much Smash Brothers, in fact. We went over characters, stages, modes, all that. So if you want our Smash Brothers thoughts, make sure to check out part 1. Otherwise, we're going to continue on to everything else about Nintendo that isn't direct to Smash Brothers related. So I guess, yeah, we'll just hop right into our predictions again. Roger, I felt like you were a little bit grounded in the Smash Brothers discussion, so I want your biggest prediction, or one of your biggest predictions, for what you think we might expect from Nintendo for the rest of E3.
So you want me to start with the crazy one?
Okay, maybe don't start with it, but give me a crazy one. Maybe not your craziest one.
Oh, I mean, I got some crazy ones. Here's something I'll say. Because I think everybody is expecting this game, and I'm not expecting this game to be at E3. I think Star Fox Grand Prix is not going to be at E3 in any capacity. I think that is a 2019 game, and I do not think we are going to see that or whatever Retro is working on at this E3. Because this is a year with Smash Brothers, Pokemon, Yoshi, Fire Emblem, Metroid Prime 4, Bayonetta 3. There's a lot of stuff that they can talk about, and I think the time is not yet right for that. I don't think they're going to release that this year.
Honestly, at this point, thinking Yoshi's still coming out this year instead of Star Fox Grand Prix is a bolder prediction.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think Yoshi's showing up at all.
That's one of my
ones. Wow, really?
I disagree. Yeah. I don't know.
Okay, but seriously, I think I agree with you, Roger. I think Star Fox Grand Prix is real, but I don't think it's going to be at this E3 either.
Yep.
I feel like all of last year we were saying, like, this is the year we'll see Retro's project, and now a year's gone by, and we're not expecting to see it at all.
I think it's because we've learned a few things since. Like, I think we've, there've been some rumblings of, like, Retro having that project canceled now, for instance.
Yep.
And just having Star Fox Grand Prix presumably be a big multiplayer title, it'd be kind of competing with Smash if it came out in toward the end of the year, right? So I feel like they're kind of covering similar territory in a way.
And especially considering the games we know about already, because like Yoshi, Pokemon, and Fire Emblem were listed as 2018 games. Mm-hmm. And even if we don't see Yoshi at E3, I still have no doubt that game is going to come out this year. Because when Pokemon was listed during that, whatever that was, like a fiscal earnings report or whatever, just a couple weeks ago, it said 2018 or later. It didn't even say 2018. So I'm thinking that Yoshi and Fire Emblem, they've literally just been waiting to show off until this E3. And that we're going to get big blowouts for both of them. I think we're going to get release dates for both Fire Emblem and Yoshi, and I think Fire Emblem is going to take the Xenoblade slot, where Xenoblade was in like December last year. I think that's going to be Fire Emblem, and I think the October slot between Smash and Pokemon is going to be Yoshi.
See, I really don't think a Yoshi game... I don't think Yoshi's going to show up at all. I think a Mario game is going to take his spot this year.
What Mario game?
A new 2D game. I think, not Mario Maker, because I think they're saving that for later. They want to get a 2D game out of the way first while they can. So, possibly New Super Mario Brothers.
Like a port, or...
Well, it's tricky to say. I think...
I hope not a new one.
I
know, that's the thing. New Super Mario Brothers
U2 could very well be ported.
2D Mario, though, seems like one of those things that there's legitimately not room for this year. If you have Smash and Pokemon, I think because 2D Mario seems like something that they would wait till next year. Because, I mean, we've got Metroid and Bayonetta are presumably 2019, and then a Pokemon game, too, because that was announced. But beyond those three, we really don't know a lot of next year. And so I think we might get a couple teases for things to come next year during this E3. But I really think most of the stuff they're going to talk about, I actually believe what they're saying this time around. I think it is going to be 2018 titles, because we still don't know a lot of games that'll come out in the later months. And I think they're going to focus on smaller franchises that maybe haven't normally seen the light of day that will end up getting new games this year. And those will be more crazy predictions for later, but right. I do really expect to see like smaller franchises during this E3.
Yeah, I think I'm in agreement with you. I think we will see. I mean, Nintendo said we will mostly see 2018, and I mostly agree with them. But I think they said they'll focus on 2018. But I think we will still see at least one or two titles teased for next year, because I feel like we have to see Metroid this year. We already touched on it in Smash Brothers during the Smash Brothers discussion. We'll see Metroid Prime 4, I think, but again, it won't be out this year.
Right. So you don't think it's going to be playable at the show?
No, I don't think
it's
playable.
I agree. Cool.
By the way, I do find it very interesting that we're so deeply divided on Yoshi, and I actually do think it's going to come out this year, and I think we're going to see it in the Direct. I actually very much believe that's going to be a small part, but I do think they're going to blow it out. I think we'll get a name and like a new trailer, footage, information. I don't think we're going to get a release date. I do think we will for Fire Emblem, but not for Yoshi, although I do think that we're going to see more of Yoshi.
When do you think Yoshi will come out?
Probably October-ish. That's my guess. Like
Nice. Look at this. We're matching up, our
I know, that's my guess.
Great. I love it.
I just don't see it. I think Yoshi's going to be February of next year. Take
Yeah.
that Kirby Star Allies slot because
Yeah.
I don't think they haven't talked about it at all. We haven't got a title at all. It just seems like it disappeared off the face of the planet in the same way that Yoshi's Woolly World did.
Exactly. That's where my pessimism comes from. Like Yoshi's
Yeah,
just
exactly.
cursed.
That's true.
Exactly.
And there was a tropical freeze delay where we thought it was coming at the end of the year, and then it got delayed into like February of the following year. So it's not as if a high-profile Nintendo platformer has not seen that kind of delay before. So
True.
it's certainly possible.
But I do think the October game could be Star Fox Grand Prix if that is a real thing, because that slot's right in between Smash and Pokemon. It's a big enough title.
Assuming September for Smash.
Assuming September for
Assuming,
Smash.
yeah.
But I've been saying September for a long time. I'm going to keep sticking with that narrative. But yeah, I think October, if September for Smash, definitely October for Star Fox if it is real.
And if it is real, I initially thought Star Fox Grand Prix, if it's legit, I thought it was going to be at E3, but the more I think about it, Star Fox needs all the help it can get. We know this, and it will absolutely get lost in the shuffle of Smash and Pokemon and Fire Emblem. Star Fox just isn't that strong an IP right now, and I think they need it to have its own breathing room. Because otherwise, who's going to care about... some people will, but next to Smash. Very few are going to care about Star Fox Grand Prix as much as Smash. So I almost feel like that would be its own reveal later on this year or something. Again, assuming it's legit.
Man, I feel like I really disagree with you a lot right now, Ash, because you're talking about how you're thinking they're going to be focusing on these smaller titles, these franchises that haven't gotten games in a while. Well, they're going to get buried by Smash as well, and
That's
Pokemon
true.
as well. And we're already saying how this Direct is going to be at most 45 minutes long, at least 30 minutes long. So they got time to fill in here. So I think they're not going to this is Nintendo. They don't care about that. They released Zelda and Mario on the same day. They've released other franchises on the same day as Pokemon. They do not care about that stuff.
But different platforms.
Totally see us. They were different platforms, and that does matter, but I still think we'll see something like that.
Well, and also, though, Mario and Zelda won't cannibalize each other. They're both such titans that they're not going to, encroach upon each other's sales. But
Right.
Star Fox, I don't know if it could really,
You place it far enough away, if you put it mid-October, far enough away from Smash and early enough before Pokemon, it has room to breathe. I totally believe that.
I think if Star Fox comes out after Smash, no one's gonna care. I think it has to come out before. If it's this year, it would have to come out before Smash, but I don't think it's this year. So.
Well, and to your credit, Derek, I am kind of I'm kind of wavering on that. I'm not super it's not going to be there. I kind of think there's a chance, but I'm just thinking about it from a different angle now. I'm like, oh, maybe not. But I see what you're saying, and I'm kind of back and forth on it for sure.
Going back to what you were talking about with Yoshi in that early spring time slot of next year, I am predicting that we are going to get a tease of an announcement of a game that is going to come out during that time period next year. And I think the time is right, but I don't think that we're going to see it playable. I think it would not demo well on the show floor and would get cannibalized by the hype of Smash and Pokemon, so I think it'll have its own Direct later in the year. But I think we are going to get a tease or an announcement of Animal Crossing for Nintendo Switch, and it's going to come out in that spring time slot that Kirby did last year, or this year, I should say.
You took one of my predictions!
Yeah, that's a good one. I think I agree with most of that, and you actually made a really convincing case there for all of it, but I don't think it's coming out this year either. I think it would be a spring title. I just wasn't sure if it would be at E3. My prediction was no, it wouldn't be at E3, but you made a pretty good case for it. I can see them teasing it, because people have been wondering, where in the hell is Animal Crossing for years now? New Leaf is what, 2013? That was forever ago. Yeah, it's time. So.
And I think they would have waited if Pocket Camp was more successful, because Pocket Camp is arguably a success.
Yeah, it seems like
it's nowhere near the level of Fire Emblem Heroes or Pokemon Go, but it's still a success. But because it didn't hit that mass appeal that I think they expected, even though it was like that for maybe a week, I think they do sort of want to get the messaging out there, similar to what happened last year, where Reggie mentioned that the whole reason they announced Metroid was because they were announcing Samus Returns, and they didn't want the 3D Metroid fans to be upset. So I could see something similar with Animal Crossing during this year's E3.
Yeah, I do think it's going to get teased. It feels like the right time, like you guys said. It's been quite a while since New Leaf, and even New Leaf Welcome Amiibo. and Pocket Camp, there could likely end up being some connectivity there with the new eventual new Switch game. It just feels right for a tease of a new console, Animal Crossing. So I'm right there. I agree mostly with everything you said about that prediction, Roger.
Right on. Cool. And actually, I want to go back to another prediction. Now we're just getting to some wild ones. But I want to say that, John, earlier you mentioned 2D Mario. Mm-hmm. And I heavily disagree with you because I think there are going to be 3 Mario games present at this E3, none of which are going to be 2D.
Okay.
Let me explain. One, we already know this. Mario Tennis is going to be there. They're going to show Mario Tennis a tiny little bit, even if it's just a kiosk on the show floor. That will be there. There's one of them.
It's a bold prediction.
Yeah. 2, Mario Party. I think we're going to get a Mario Party announcement. I think that is going to be the big new Mario game for this year. I think it's going to be a Mario Party game. I think that would go right in line with like the Smash Brothers and Pokemon fan base. But again, Mario Party is big enough and different enough that I think it could stand alone in like an October or a December time slot.
If people care.
If
they can make people care.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
Roger, will there be a roof party in the trailer for Mario Party?
There has to be.
Yeah.
That's a
Man.
pretty good prediction, actually.
No, it's a great prediction. I agree. I mean, because to touch on Derrick's point, people will care with it being the first Mario Party on Switch. If they screw this one up, it's the next one people may not care about. So
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, actually, I think there's a good chance you're right about that. It's just, Roger, in terms of a new Mario Party game on Switch, I think we might see that. It's just really weird to hear you say, I think, Mario Party 11 or whatever it's going to be is the big new Mario game for this year. Calling any Mario Party game the big new Mario game for any year is just odd to me. But I do agree that we could see that.
I don't think it's going to be called 11, is another
you don't?
prediction. I think it's going to be
Okay.
called Switch, or it's going to be called something else. I
Okay.
think it would be very weird to market it as 11 after they just did top 50. I just don't think it's
Right.
going to happen.
I hope they do, only because it sounds so absurd. Like, Mario Party 11. Like, what? Like, how did
Well,
Mario
I
Party
guess
make
I
it
could
that
see.
far?
Oh, you said that. I could see the logo now, where both ones are Joy-Cons. I can actually see that.
That's
Oh,
so
yeah,
silly.
that would be perfect. Oh,
that's
Yeah.
pretty great. That's pretty
That'll
great.
do it.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
yeah.
All right. What's your third Mario
right.
game?
The
Roger?
third Mario game that I think will be present at E3 is Kingdom DLC for Mario Odyssey.
You took my prediction.
You took mine. Oh.
I think we're going to get a Sunshine Kingdom. I feel very strongly that just through that teasing that they did on those posters last year with the marketing, I think we're going to get an Isle Delfino, and I think it'll be a summer release. I think it's going to come sooner than people expect.
So I'd actually be totally okay with that. I would just hope that they go a step farther than they did with the Mushroom Kingdom, where it's not just the hub; it's actually like one of the levels you can revisit. So you'd have like the Mario Sunshine Hub, Delfino Isle, and then you'd also have like what is it, Bianca Hills or something you can run around in. So
Yeah.
that'd be amazing.
Just to kind of piggyback off that prediction, I had that on my list as well, and I agree. Not only that, I think they're going to do it like a season pass style, where you pay $20 and you'll get like maybe 2 DLC kingdoms. The first one drops in summer, and the second one drops close to the end of the year, kind of like Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, I can see that.
So are you thinking no new story component then? It would just be like, hey, here's no kingdoms, go have fun. That's
I mean,
it.
that might be like a light story component, but I mean, do you really need any more excuse than, hey, go find more moons?
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
Yeah.
Apparently you do, going by the reaction to a lot of people after they beat Mario Odyssey the first time. Like, well, I'm done. I don't need to go find all those freaking moons.
fair enough.
To be fair, we had the darker side as the final unlock, so I think like
I still remember our disappointment with that, Roger. Like
we
like,
were racing when we got that review copy. We were like seeing who was gonna get there first. We're like, Isle Delfino's waiting for us. It's right there.
I think we were like, are you joking when I mentioned like his dark side and darker side?
Oh, I was
Yeah.
so upset.
Yeah.
I was so upset. Yeah.
So I have a prediction. I think that this is something that's on many of our lists, so I'm going to go ahead and get out in front of it. I think we're going to get a little brief tease of Metroid Prime 4 in the E3 Direct, but more than that, I think we are going to get a Metroid Prime Trilogy HD type
Yes,
thing
this
for
year.
Switch. This year. Absolutely this year.
I actually don't think
please.
trilogy. I think saga. Because Federation Force, if anything, ties into Prime 4
Oh.
more than Prime 3 does.
Whoa,
Good point.
curveball,
Yeah.
And Pinball would be in there too. And
pinball, curveball. Hell yeah!
Would be sick.
There we go.
I actually think Federation Force could use like a re-release if it wasn't a standalone game, if it was tied in with like a trilogy or something like that. Because admittedly, when you are playing with other people, that game is really fun.
Yeah.
I
but-
enjoyed it.
People just didn't give it the chance because it's obviously a little weird.
Yeah, and on 3DS.
And it was did come out before we knew about any other Metroid games. Now that we actually have Metroid games, people are would hope would be a little bit more lenient on Federation Force, because I think that game was really good. It was made by Next Level. They did a good job on it. It just requires a bit more multiplayer, and it maybe not the style that one would want, but I did have a lot of fun with that game.
And doesn't Blast Ball deserve a second chance?
No.
Probably.
We have Rocket League now.
We have
Switch.
Rocket. Yeah,
You don't need Blast Ball.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
But how would we control these games is a question, because the original GameCube games were single stick controls, and then Prime 3 used Wii Remote IR aiming. So do you think this will sort of mirror whatever control scheme we have for Prime 4, or do you reckon they'll stick with the single stick GameCube style?
Do you think they're going to go back and not offer both control options? Because I kind of feel like you could play with the Pro Controller and you could play with motion
The
control.
GameCube adapter, too.
True.
Yeah, and
Oh,
the
yeah.
GameCube adapter. Yeah, exactly.
I think they'll offer both, to be honest.
the problem with the IR controls, so using the Joy-Con, is, as you noted with World of Goo, it does become desyncs. That
Right.
might become an issue with it for that.
Yeah, that's the
style
biggest
of control.
problem, is that Wii was able to resync itself thanks to the sensor bar. It's not, I mean, it's not the worst. You have to resync in other games too, like in Splatoon. It's a little bit different with how that works. But yeah, I've had to recenter my own display. So yeah, it's not perfect, but I kind of feel like they do have to, I mean, for Metroid Prime 3, obviously, they'd have to retain, I feel like they'd have to retain motion control to some degree. And they could,
Right.
for the most part, with the Joy-Con, so...
Some parts of Prime 3 won't really make sense without pointer controls. Like right at the start of the game, you have to sort of calibrate your ship by
Right.
by pointing at some symbols that match on the screen. If you're just sort of doing that just by flicking through some panels, then it's just a tedious task. You know, the whole point of that was getting you used to aiming. So yeah, I think if they don't have any motion controls like Prime 3, it's gonna feel really jarring, that game. And then there's a bunch of like there's tons of switches that you're meant to pull forward and then twist and then put in. It's just gonna feel like there's something missing in Prime 3 if they don't have that control scheme.
Yeah, I agree. And I feel like there's a way, I mean, you know, like, again, with the example of Splatoon 2, there is, you know, the fact that the camera can get desynced, or the motion aiming can get desynced. That's why you have that camera center button now that's dedicated. I think it's the Y button that just centers your camera no matter how askew it is. And I feel like they could do something like that for Metroid Prime, even if they use all the button functions, like a quick shake of the left Joy-Con so it wouldn't mess up your aiming, could just center your view and you're good to go. Or like, I feel like there is a solution here, is what I'm saying.
While we're on the topic of motion control, let me throw out another weird prediction, which is I think we're going to get first off, I think we're going to get a lot of ports announced. I think we're going to get a couple Wii U ports still announced, and I think we're going to get one Wii port. And that's why I said motion control. I think we're going to get an HD port of Skyward Sword. Because I think they're going to want something Zelda-related for the holiday, but obviously they're not going to make a new Zelda game yet. I think like a 2D Zelda or a Breath of the Wild sequel or even Zelda Maker is like far off. So if they want to have a Zelda game on the system, I could see a Skyward Sword port. And then the other two ports, I was thinking one, because it's been teased like crazy. Kamiya's been bringing this up every opportunity. I think we're going to get a Wonderful 101 port. And I also think that because I don't think we're going to get another Xenoblade game this year, I think we're going to get a port of Xenoblade Chronicles 2 to tie in with Elma being in Smash Brothers.
You mean X?
X, I mean,
Oh, yeah, sorry. Did I say
Yeah.
yeah. X. I think the Wii U one. Yeah, X.
I want all of those, Roger, but I don't know if it's time for Skyward Sword yet, because Breath of the Wild is still selling pretty well, and there's going to be a bunch of new Switch owners come Christmas time, so I wonder if Breath of the Wild is still going to be kind of that holiday game for Zelda. But when it comes to Xenoblade, I think X makes more sense than porting the original game, because X is already in HD. It doesn't need a remaster as such, you just sort of need to port it over. So it's more cost effective just to bring over X than it is to remaster the first game. So yeah, I'd love for that to come over. But yeah, I agree, those would be great games to have. I just don't know if it's the time for all of them.
Yeah, I think
it's-
Skyward
yeah.
Sword to be one that comes later in the year, like, or not even this year, rather, at a later point. They'd announce it during a
Yeah.
direct or something. It doesn't quite feel like E3 caliber for me. Whereas Metroid has, or Metroid compilation, to have the easy Metroid Prime 4 tie-in. So
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, and even though I do want all those things, it feels like if all of that were to come out this year, that feels like an incredibly crowded release schedule.
Yeah, even with Xenoblade Chronicles X, like I'd love to have X on Switch, and I'm sure that's going to happen at some point. But I also am of the belief that Fire Emblem Switch is going to get the date of Xenoblade Chronicles 2, where it's beginning of December.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think the main game in December will still be Fire Emblem. The reason I'm thinking we're going to get a lot of ports is because I think this is the last year in terms of bringing out a lot of ports from the Wii U era. I think that was an early complaint with the Switch, which I don't necessarily agree with, but a lot of people were like, oh, they're porting over a lot of games, they should make new games. And I think it's at the point where they pretty much have exhausted their library of games. Everything is either over, or they're probably going to be making new ones, things like Smash Brothers or Mario Maker. And so I do think the last few things that are on those systems they might end up porting over this year, so that come next year, everything we get from here on out is new.
One port I think that would make people kind of happy and sad at the same time is if they did Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door, but during the Treehouse and for 3DS.
Oh
Yeah.
my god. Oh.
That kind of lines up with the prediction I had as well, which is I think we're going to get a new 3DS exclusive title announced during Treehouse Live again. And so I could see them. Oh god, that makes me angry just thinking about it. But I can totally see them doing exactly that, John. Exactly that.
Yeah, I could too.
Man, I
Now
really
I'm
hope
depressed.
It doesn't happen.
Thanks a lot.
All right,
John.
I'm gonna bring it back up here. I think this is the year we finally see Pikmin 4. It was confirmed to be almost done back in 2015, E3 2015, almost done, and we've never seen it since. I think this is the year. We're gonna see something of it. In fact, I think it'll come out this year. I'm going all in on this. So,
I mean, if that's the case, maybe it'd be August.
that's what I'm thinking.
August
Exactly,
Yeah.
August. Perfect time for it.
Maybe Pikmin 4 was my Pikmin all along.
Is this a traditional Pikmin, like Pikmin 1, 2, and 3, or have they sort of, are they trying to redo the series in any kind of way?
It's so weird because every one is a little bit different from the past one. In this case, I think co-op will be a big deal. So they'll go back to having two captains. That way you can have someone else hop in with you at the exact same time with the Joy-Cons. So yeah, drop in, drop out co-op. So I think there'll be a two captain focus. Otherwise, I think it will play similar to how it has, in the past games. I don't think they're going to do anything dramatically different.
And this would technically
think
be
it
the
makes
very
sense.
first Pikmin game to be made for from the ground up for a HD platform.
Oh, man.
Because Pikmin 3 was technically a Wii game to begin
That's
with.
right. It would be.
Right. Oh my gosh.
That looks so good too.
Yeah, well. Here's the thing. Here's the weird thing that we got to realize. We're going to have games that are not from Nintendo during this Direct. I almost guarantee it.
Yeah.
And we've
Oh,
already
yeah.
seen that Konami is developing two Switch-related titles. One a compilation, one an action-adventure game. And I have no idea what the action-adventure could be. It could really be anything of their library, something completely new. Maybe a Super Bomberman R2 or something like that. Who knows? But I do think, I'm going to throw it out there, I think the compilation is Castlevania. Some sort of Castlevania compilation. And I would love it if it would be
Man.
like a Legacy
my
Collection
God.
like thing like Mega Man.
Oh, man.
Symphony of the
God.
Night finally on a Nintendo platform. That would be amazing.
That'd be insane.
That handheld Nintendo platform.
And that would be a perfect tie-in with what we said in the first part of the discussion with Smash Brothers and Simon Belmont. That would be so good to tie that in with the Castlevania compilation.
Oh god,
Oh.
I mean, Symphony of the Night is obviously the one you want to get, but even if they did one of like just the 3DS titles, like that, having those on Switch would be amazing as well. Like Order of Ecclesia and Portrait of Ruin, like you really can't go wrong with a 2D Castlevania collection. Like it's literally impossible to.
I would love if they did like all the traditional Castlevania games as one collection, and then all the Metroidvania type Castlevania games as another collection.
I mean, yeah, Nintendo fans haven't played Symphony of the Night ever, so just having that in a collection would be absolutely huge.
I have a safe prediction. Even though the release date for this was seemingly leaked on the eShop back in March, I think we're going to get one final trailer for Splatoon 2 Octo Expansion, and we're going to get the release date. Whether that release date is still July 31st, as it was apparently leaked on the eShop, I don't
July
know.
13th,
but
I think.
that could possibly be as well. Either way, whatever it is, I do think we're going to get one last trailer and a firm release date for Octo Expansion, but, that's pretty safe.
I mean, I'll hop on there and get the rest out of the way. We're going to see Captain Toad again. We're going to see the Mario Plus Rabbids DLC again. And we're going to see probably more Mario Tennis Aces as well. So
Yeah.
Going off that, I mean, we'll probably see. We probably will have a 3DS section where they show off more of WarioWare Gold, Luigi's Mansion. I don't think Bowser's Inside Story.
I think they might have already said isn't it only a Switch event, apart from the Treehouse?
did they say that?
They might have. They did say. I know it's maybe a Switch focus, but I would not be surprised if we got a little bit in there. And like, forget who said it, but probably I could see some new 3DS game of some kind.
I mean, whether or not it's in the Direct itself, I mean, some of these will show up on the Nintendo Treehouse too. So
Yeah.
it's all kind of like one giant event.
Some games I really want are from Capcom, Resident Evil Remake, Resident Evil 0, Resident Evil 4, 5, and 6, all coming to Switch. So
Wow.
You're all,
I
all
tell you
about
what, they can leave 6.
these are all on PlayStation 4. And and they all sort of came out around the same time on PS4, within a few months of each other. And these are amazing games, all remastered for HD. And I want to take it a step further too, and have an amiibo of the dog from Resident Evil 4. And then you can tap him in Breath of the Wild, and he'll be like a Black Wolf Link in Breath
Oh,
of the
that'd be
Wild.
so good.
Oh my god.
And he specializes in taking down the giant trolls in the world.
Exactly.
The
Oh man,
Cyclops.
that's funny.
It's
like
good
that.
against the high Noxes. Oh,
Yeah,
God.
Nice.
Oh, that'd be great. I like it.
I have to piggyback off that, John, I have a Capcom-related prediction that is not Resident Evil, but it's also not Mega Man, because Mega Man 11 was already blown out.
Are they making a new Zelda?
That would be, I'd be okay with that.
That would be
but-
pretty cool.
Yeah, that long fabled third Oracle game, we're finally getting it. No, but I do think that it's time. I think we're going to get some sort of Ace Attorney ports on Switch announced. Like, even if it's just 1 through 3, Capcom has ported Ace Attorney to everything under the sun almost, in terms of handheld devices and portable devices. And I feel like maybe it's not time at E3, but I don't know. I have a feeling that we might get some ports announced of Phoenix Wright.
Well, Capcom did already announce that the Ace Attorney franchise is moving to the Switch.
That's also true. I'd forgotten about that until you mentioned it. But yeah, and that would be an obvious. I mean, that was always going to happen. But I feel like they probably won't lead with Ace Attorney 7. But I do think we're going to get ports at some point, and that may be as soon as E3.
Going off the other third-party stuff, because we're sort of in like a third-party section right now. First off, I think that quote-unquote leak list with like Fortnite and Fighter Z and Paladins, and I think that's completely true. I think every one of those games is going to be there. I think it's totally true. The Killer Queen thing, which is amazing.
Yes.
'cause I played that in bars in Chicago. It's
so good.
Such a fun game.
It is.
So I'm so happy that's coming over. That's great. But I think we're also going to see a ton of stuff on Square's side of things. I think we're going to see more of the final remix of World Ends With You. I think we're going to see a little bit more of Project Octopath. I'm expecting a port of Nier Automata for Nintendo Switch. I think that is one of those mid-tier Square Enix franchises that they talked about bringing over to the Switch. And on top of that, too, it's also something that is done very well. I think people want to see it. A lot of people want to be in Smash Brothers. I think this would be the only way she ends up getting thrown in there. So I think...
don't see that happening.
Yeah. But I definitely could see Nier Automata being ported to Switch. And I also am expecting something Final Fantasy related. Whether or not that is the long-rumored Final Fantasy 15 port, or if it is maybe a new Crystal Chronicles game, or maybe even one of like the recent remakes of like Final Fantasy 12 or something. I think there's going to be some type of Final Fantasy game for the Switch that maybe even gets announced during the Square Enix conference, isn't even talked about during the Nintendo one. But I think there's going to be a lot of Square support on Nintendo.
Like Gino and Smash Brothers.
Like Gino and Smash, there you go.
They are. I think we'll probably see more of Dragon Quest Builders 2 as well, which I'm hoping for because Builders is amazing. Do you think we'll see a port of Bravely Default?
Oh,
The
That would
Bravely
be
Default game.
That would be
great
cool.
and second.
I'd like
but
to.
I don't know. I don't think they'll do that yet, just because the same team is working on Octopath Traveler, and that
True, but
that's in
they do
July.
have. I mean, they did. I mean, if it's just a port job, it doesn't take that much. Plus, they did have that one thing of Adia with.
Oh,
with the
I'm not
Switch.
saying I don't think it'll happen. I just think I think they'll wait to give Octopath Traveler some breathing room and then do it eventually, like down the line. I do think it's going to happen, probably both default and second. But
What if they actually
Yet,
gave
no.
us the Mana collection?
oh my god, I forgot
Yeah,
about
they
that.
could bring that over. That's right.
That would be yeah. Oh please, I just want that to happen now. If that doesn't
Yeah.
happen, Derek, I'm blaming you because you made me remember that.
You're gonna get the Secret of Mana remake, and you're gonna be happy with it.
Oh, no. While we're still on third parties, real quick, too, with that leak list, my prediction with Fortnite is it's going to actually drop the day of the Direct. I think it's going to release right after the Direct. It's going to be like an available now type of thing.
Wasn't it
Yeah.
found? Data was already found on the eShop of
was it?
Fortnite. So, yeah.
Oh,
And
so then
Paladins is releasing on the 12th too.
there you go. Because they did that with mobile,
Yeah.
too. When Fortnite was announced for mobile, it got, like, dropped right away. And
Yeah.
you had to get, like, little codes and stuff, so I could see them doing the same thing.
You're totally right. It's gonna be awesome. I mean,
so
it's gonna happen. It'll be fun.
Paladins is releasing. It's like an early access game where you can buy the.
Founders Pack.
That's it. So you can pay £25 for that, and then it's going to be free to play down the line. So do you reckon Fortnite's just going to release free to play right off the bat?
Yes.
Yeah,
That's just going to kill
Probably.
Paladins.
Yeah.
it will.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
I actually got a prediction here that would make you happy, John. I think we'll actually get a release date for Dark Souls Remastered on Switch.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I didn't even really realize those games released on PS4 and Xbox One. That's how bummed I was from this delay.
It felt like they came. Like, I know people were playing it, but because it didn't come out on Switch, it kind of felt like it came and went.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that was once one of my most anticipated games, and now I didn't even realize it came out. But yeah, I would love that to happen. And then a release date for the Amiibo too. I mean, I assume they're going to come on the same day, but
Oh, yeah.
I know people on
for
PS4
sure.
who want to buy that Amiibo, even though they don't have the Switch version.
So, what are you guys expecting in terms of Pokemon? Are you expecting just Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee? And what are you expecting from those specifically? Like, do you think, do we know it'll be playable? So, how much are you expecting of that game for them to show? And do you think there'll be anything else Pokemon related here as well?
Well, we know there's a new Pokemon in this game, and is it too early to reveal it though?
I think so.
Yeah.
Well, if the new Pokemon is in Smash Brothers, then maybe not.
Oh,
true.
one of
I don't
Eevee's
think so.
evolutions? Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, right, there you go.
Do we think, like, in terms of them saying there's a brand new Pokemon, well, sure, but do we think that that's like a brand new Pokemon, like number 800 whatever, or like would this
Yeah,
be like like a new evolution, like a pre-evolution or a new evolution of an existing Pokemon?
Yeah, it's still a brand new Pokemon.
Sure. So I
Yeah.
guess then take out the Pokedex number. Do you think it's going to be an all brand new Pokemon, or is it going to be like a new evolution of like a Gen 1 Pokemon?
I could see it being a new evolution.
That's kind of what I'm
honestly.
thinking.
Or based
Yeah.
off one of the Gen 150.
It'd be weird for a game full of entirely Gen 1 Pokemon and then have just a random one from Gen 7 or Gen 8.
Exactly.
So it makes sense for it to be like an evolution of a Gen 1 Pokemon, but I'd be happy if it was like a little sneak peek at Gen 8. Mm-hmm. Like, here's your first Gen 8 Pokemon.
I would
there
still
will be.
classify this Pokemon as Gen 7 though. Like Gen 8 to me does not start until Gen 8 is released.
Uh-huh.
Right.
Yeah, I think it would be weird if it was like an evolution of Pikachu or Eevee, and if they like marketed that as the new one. The one thing I could maybe see them doing, because a lot of people asked for this a long time ago and it never ended up happening. People thought about this when we saw the Mega Evolution of Mewtwo. Is we already have Mew and we already have Mewtwo. Maybe Mew 3, not as an evolution of Mewtwo, mind you, but as like a new clone that would somehow be tied into the story of maybe the post game of Let's Go. Because we already know it's going to be in Kanto. It's a remake, reboot, whatever, of Yellow. If they're going to make a new Pokemon and not have it be an evolution, I could maybe see it being a new clone of Mew.
Mewtwo 2?
No, I think it'd be
Mewtwo
Mew
squared.
If they were going to do it, I think Mewtwo squared would be crazy.
So
Hey,
are we
always-
cloning Mewtwo, or are we cloning Mew again?
I think they're cloning Mew again. I think it'll be something where it's like a new experiment with Mew or whatever, and they end up making Mew 3.
Because if we clone Mewtwo, that'd be Mewtwo 2. So
Right.
if we clone Mew,
I don't think they're cloning Mewtwo. I think it's another clone of Mew. Yeah.
I don't think we're going to get anything new meaningful about the Let's Go games at E3. I think they did their blowout when they did because, hey, we're going to get out in front of E3. Here's all the information. Here's what we're doing. They're going to have them playable. We know that. And I think whatever quote-unquote new things we find out is just going to be the context from having played it. I don't expect any new actual information about the Let's Go games, and I don't think we'll get anything about Pokemon 2019.
I would not be surprised if the demo goes from Route 1 to Viridian Forest.
Yeah, like I'm thinking something really slight like that.
No huge blowout or anything like that, but same thing with just got a few other things here. They've been slowly showing off the second wave of Dream Friends for Kirby Star Allies, but we haven't heard anything yet about the third Dream Friends, and E3 is coming up, so I almost wonder if they're going to show that last one, and for those who have seen the data mine, they'll know exactly who it is, and show off all of the Dream Friends in their full capacity at E3.
When's it come out again? Is it this summer?
It just says summer, so I think we'll get a release date for that as well. So we'll get our 3 new Dream Friends in a release date.
Yeah, I agree. I think we'll definitely get a release date for Wave 2 of the Star Allies Dream Friends. I would be shocked if we didn't. I have kind of a downer prediction.
Sweet.
Oh, good.
Sorry, but I know some people are holding out hope that there's something more, some other component to Nintendo Switch Online that Nintendo has held back for E3. I don't think so. I don't think
No.
they'll have anything to say about it. I think what we got announced earlier is, like a month ago, is what we're getting. I don't think they're going to get anything new or promising or really exciting about Switch Online.
At the very most, I can see them actually show off NES multiplayer online.
I don't feel like it's a big enough deal for E3.
Yeah, it's not. I agree. I mean,
Yeah.
it might come up within the context of Smash Brothers when they're talking about the online, but that's it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it'll come up in the context of, hey, like, look forward to using your Nintendo Switch Online mobile app to voice chat in Smash. Like, I'm honestly expecting that. That's why I said it was a downer. I don't want to believe it, but either way, I don't think we're not gonna get some miracle announcement that Switch Online is much more comprehensive than we found out it was a month ago.
Yeah. No. Totally agree.
I agree too.
I do have a question here from, or not even a question, just a statement from BeefJerky27 on Twitter, who says, "Give us Mother 3."
Yes.
Man,
I don't want a
wish.
Game Boy Advance localization anymore. I want them to sort of go back to the original concept of Mother 3. Go back to the
64?
N64. Yeah, exactly.
Oh my
Make a full-
god.
not even just completing the N64 version, just going back to that whole 3D premise of Mother 3, like remake it entirely in its original vision. I would love that.
Was it one of you guys? I saw on Twitter somebody make the suggestion that Earthbound should be remade with the claymation models from the back of the box
my
of
God.
the SNES.
That would be
I
pretty
would
sick.
love that so much, Derrick.
I would weep. If that was actually shown during E3 and I was recording my live reaction, I would actually weep. I'd be weeping on camera. Yeah.
How do you release a GBA game in 2018? Because the only virtual console platform is Wii U for GBA. So you either do a collection or you remake the game.
GBA Classic.
Or GBA.
Or
you wait for
GBA Classic, yeah.
I guess,
I don't necessarily think Nintendo even thinks of it like that anymore. I think they could just, if they wanted to, I'm not saying this is going to happen at E3, but I'm saying that, like, if they wanted to re-release Mother 3 on Switch, they could just do it. Like, I don't think they would even need to label it as a virtual console release or anything. I think they could just be like, oh, Mother 3 is available right now.
Yeah, like they could just make it its own kind of package, and they don't have to brand it as a Game Boy Advance or Virtual Console, anything. It's just Earthbound Endings or whatever, Earthbound Legends or whatever they want to call it. But it's just that, and it's not necessarily branded as a Game Boy Advance or anything like that.
I have a feeling. I feel like this might be the year of Mother 3.
No, I'm not
Don't
getting
say
my
that.
Not-
I
not
have
getting my
felt
hopes
that
up.
way
That's-
for like 5 years now. I can't. I can't take the heartbreak.
While we're on the topic of RPGs, though, there is an RPG that was announced last year that we still know nothing about.
Ooh.
And maybe it's time to see a little bit more of Shin Megami Tensei for Nintendo
Yes.
Switch.
I could see that.
I feel
Maybe.
like when they revealed it, it was quite early in production, and we had a trailer end of last year, I think. And it still seemed pretty early.
I think that trailer is basically announcing that they had officially started production.
Right.
Something around that time.
So this is probably a way off, but yeah, I'd love to see
Yeah.
Shin Megami Tensei 5, and I'd also love to see Persona 5 on Switch.
Any kind of Persona port over to the Switch. I'd love the dancing games to come to the Switch. They just got
Yes.
announced
Oh, yeah.
for English localization, and I'm totally picking those up on PlayStation 4, but...
Well,
yeah.
and on that note, we know that Atlas is bringing new titles to E3, so I was actually thinking, even if not P5, like what if we saw like a Persona 4 Golden port on Switch? I think
that'd
people
be
would
so
lose their minds for
that'd
that.
be great.
Yeah, like that would be that might even be in its own way as big or a bigger deal than having a P5 port. Like I feel like that P4 is so beloved, and Golden especially is. I feel like that would be. I don't know. I feel like that would be a very exciting announcement, and they already did the PS Vita, again, Golden. So it kind of the idea sells itself, in my opinion.
Has
Right.
there ever been a Persona game on a Nintendo platform?
Persona Q.
Okay, but not like the
Yeah.
mainline ones.
No.
Because I always thought there was some weird thing where like Sony funded publishing or something, and like that's why. Because to me, like Shin Megami Tensei is the Nintendo one, and Persona is the Sony one. So it would just feel weird to me if I would love it. Don't get me wrong if they brought over Persona 5 on Switch or P4, but I don't know.
I
just don't
feel
see
like
it
there just
happening.
hasn't really been the opportunity to bring Persona to Nintendo platforms.
Maybe,
Because,
yeah.
Yeah,
the
really.
PSP had Persona 3, the DS couldn't really handle that with how much voice acting and storage there is to go into that game. Vita's just a better a more suitable platform before Persona 4. And I feel like the Switch is the first time where they can really handle a large-scale game like Persona.
That'd be wild.
Yeah,
It really would.
that
I
be
mean-
seriously
And they do
crazy.
love the milk Persona 4, so...
And Atlas said that Persona 4 is not over as well. That was a recent statement.
Oh,
Good
really?
point. I forget. Good
Wow.
point. And
Okay.
also, why wouldn't Atlas want a piece of that Switch pie? Like, I mean, the Switch is just taken off. There's no way they don't have something in the works for it, I would think.
Also, I'm thinking about it. Persona 5 also came out on PS3, didn't it?
It did.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it could totally make it
Weird.
onto the
They
Switch.
could- yeah.
Yeah, they could
Wow.
do it.
All right.
Here's a question. Do we see what Next Level Games is up to?
That is one of my predictions, and I hope we do. I don't know what it would be. There's so many options. I'd love to be a new Punch-Out, love to be new Strikers, love to be whatever they do, but I want to see what they're doing next. I'm actually more interested in what they're doing next than Retro at this point.
Wow.
I'm actually right there with you. I much rather would see like a new Punch-Out or like even a Strikers above whatever Retro's working out at this point. Yeah.
I want next level games on Wario Land, but on a very particular one. Ever since Super Mario 3D Land, I've wanted a Wario game in that style. So what I want is Super Wario 3D Land, where it's still that sort of fixed camera kind of gameplay style of 3D Land and 3D World, apart from with a bit more exploration. So you can go around and explore, take it a bit more slowly.
Did you play Wario World?
I did. It was alright.
It sounds like you're describing Wario World.
Yeah, I want Wario World, but but better.
Good.
with more than 4 levels.
Yeah.
Treasure doesn't exactly make long games.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe Treasure's gonna come with the new Sin and Punishment. Who knows?
So we've been quite RPG heavy, and here's another RPG. So Tales of Vesperia was kind of leaked the other day.
Oh, I want it.
And
yes.
I don't think Sony would reveal it in their conference. They don't tend to do remasters. But Nintendo kind of hold high any third-party support they get. So I reckon if this game is going to be revealed at E3, it'll be during Nintendo's conference. And it'll be for Switch.
I hope so. Because one of the biggest bummers, Vesperia made me consider getting a 360 back in the day.
It's really good.
But then I saw that it got a PS3 release in Japan with basically being the complete version of it, and I was like, sweet, we're gonna get it on PS3 localized eventually, and it never happened.
Right.
So I would love to see us finally get the full version of Vesperia.
I think we got a confirmation that a Tales of game is coming to Switch, like way back when the Switch was announced. So this could very well be it.
Oh man.
That'd be so good.
absolutely. Like, even if it's not, even if it doesn't specifically get announced during Nintendo's E3 Direct, I do 100% believe the Vesperia remaster is coming to both Switch and PS4. Like, it makes too much sense.
Yeah.
I have a Sega-related prediction really quick. I think we're going to see some footage and, I don't know, maybe get some new details about the Sega Ages ports in the E3 Direct. Just something brief, but maybe just some footage. Maybe a look at some of the options you can toggle, because M2 are known for these incredibly detailed arcade or system perfect ports that let you tweak little things that you might not otherwise think about. They just really go into detail with their ports, so I feel like we might get a little more, the lid blown off a little bit on the Sega Ages ports coming up, because I think they're supposed to start coming out this summer, right?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So do you know what would make that more E3 worthy? Saturn and Dreamcast ports.
Yes, please.
Oh, please.
Give me Nights into Dreams. Give me Sonic Adventure 2. Heck yes.
I want Nights on Switch so
Panzer
much.
Dragoon. Oh,
Panzer
Oh,
Dragoon.
yes. Get the Panzer Dragoon games on there.
Oh,
Crazy
man.
Taxi.
Bug?
Shut up, Andre.
Jesus. Bug. That's, man.
No. Just no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, that would be amazing if that happened, and but either way, I think we'll see some Sega Ages stuff in the E3 Direct.
Yeah, I could see us seeing a little bit more of Team Sonic Racing, because the funny thing is we've only seen actual gameplay from that little snippet from Kotaku UK. There's really been no other actual gameplay released. So
I think I heard there was one more video somewhere else.
Oh, was there? Okay.
Yeah.
But
I forget
still,
where. But yeah, we
not
haven't seen
widely
much.
released.
Have we touched on Bethesda yet?
Oh no.
No.
No, we haven't.
Do you think we'll see any new announcements from them, like a possible Fallout on Switch?
So
Do you think it'd be Fallout 3 or Fallout 4?
I'd want New Vegas, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think New Vegas would be great.
I think it'll be a port. I do not expect to see Fallout 76. Like, I think it'll be 3 for New Vegas, But I could see a Fallout port happening.
Bethesda announced 2 games very recently. I say announced. One of them was kind of leaked by Walmart, which they kind of embraced after that. So we had Rage 2, and then
That's not coming to Switch. That's
that's going to be my question. Do you guys think that Rage 2 is going to come to Switch?
No way.
no. That was the original Rage was all about look how pretty this is, and if they're doing that again,
With its
no
mega
way it's coming to
textures.
Switch.
Yeah.
And then there's also a Fallout game, which is on the big billboards outside E3. Which I think, I'm not sure, does that have a title yet, or is it just a Fallout working title?
Fallout 76, I thought, right?
Oh, that's it, yeah. So
Yeah, that's
is
what I
that going
think,
to come
yeah.
to Switch, or is that just going to make it...
No.
No, I
Probably
think it'll be a
not.
port, like 3 or 4.
And to be honest, judging on how the leaks have sounded, it's not something I would even want to play. So,
No.
for being
I haven't
being
looked
honest.
into it too much,
Yeah,
but
it sounds like it's going to be more of like a Rust-type online game, which is very much not what like the main Fallout series is. But I really do think New Vegas would be great. That's my personal favorite Fallout game, and I think that'd be really cool to have that like portable.
Yeah. See, looking at Rage 2, though, I think if you, last year, if you said Doom and Wolfenstein, the new Colossus coming to Switch, you would have just said no, because those games obviously wouldn't handle on Switch, but they made it somehow. So I think there may be a
true.
very small chance, a very small sliver, that they could come to Switch.
I would actually expect them to, like, if let's say they announced Doom 2. I could see them putting a little bit more focus on that, because didn't Doom on Switch sell pretty well?
Decently, yeah.
I feel like, I kind of feel like we're going to see some Bethesda announcement, just because they've really been trumpeting that partnership is something they're really happy about and something that, is like kind of a big deal. So I feel like we might get an announcement of like, again, a Fallout port.
Got a question here from Dan who asks if we think there's a possibility of seeing a new or IP revival a la Kid Icarus Uprising.
Yes, in fact, that's my next prediction. That's
All
on
right.
my list right here.
right.
We talked about this a little bit on the Smash Brothers discussion, and I know it seems kind of weird, but I actually think if they were ever going to do it, this is the time to revive Ice Climbers. And I think it could be an eShop exclusive game. It could just be like a cute little, eShop revival that they throw up in December or something as a cute little cozy winter game. But I really do think that if we're ever going to get a new Ice Climber, it's going to happen now. And again, I don't think it's going to be like a big title. I think it'll be something that's small and that might even be exclusive to the eShop, but I think we're going to get a new Ice Climber.
I want a gritty reboot in the style of The Last of Us.
Ice Climber 0.
You have to keep your partner alive, and
Oh God.
Yeah.
If we get a gritty reboot, there is actually another Nintendo franchise that I would love to see. This was rumored years ago. I remember hearing this and being like, God, yes, please. Give me Mach Rider Unchained. Bring back Mach Rider.
Oh, man.
Make it an action-adventure developed by
God.
Platinum Games. Yes. And then put Mach Rider in Smash Brothers. And make
Perfect.
Mach Rider a girl. There you go.
hey, all right,
There you
Nice.
go.
They are.
that fixes all problems right there. I like it.
Hey, why not? I mean, honestly, I would kill for a new Kid Icarus or Uprising on Switch. It needs to
An
happen.
Uprising port is kind of the thing that needs to happen. I think.
I mean, that'd be
Please.
amazing. Yeah, in HD.
I would be happy to pay more than $60 for such a thing if it ever happens. Oh my God, please, Nintendo, if you're, oh jeez, that needs to happen so badly. Love that game.
Any thoughts? Any chance of us seeing F-Zero?
no,
No.
zero.
Especially not with Star Fox
F-Zero.
Grand Prix on the horizon. No.
Yeah.
That is true.
I mean, the best is we'll see, as we touched on in past discussion, we might see a Captain Falcon as an actual Falcon in Star Fox Grand Prix. That's it. So,
We'll see Captain Falcon in Smash Brothers. There you go.
oh,
True.
I mean, yeah.
I still want
to
to Captain Falcon beat him up.
I was thinking,
Same here.
yeah, like
Be
I
great.
think you and I have talked about that, Derek. Like a platinum-developed Captain Falcon action game would make a lot of sense to kind of, I don't know, inject some new, different life into that franchise or something.
I mean, if they were going to get the writers from Metal Gear Rising, I'd be all for it. Because I
Oh,
think that team would do such a great job with like a goofy,
They would.
cornball Captain Falcon action game.
Absolutely would, yeah.
If they go to 2D, they could go to the 2D beat 'em up route and have like Way Forward take care of it, like they did with that Double Dragon Neon.
Yeah,
It should be an arcade game.
There you go.
Yeah.
down with that.
All right. Any final predictions, guys, or are we? almost
Do
tapped?
we want to kind of lead out with some like one super off the wall, crazy, never gonna happen
Yes.
prediction each?
Yes.
Sure.
All right. Well, then
Right.
I do have one more. So my crazy, off the wall, never gonna happen, but I really wanted to thing at E3 is Rhythm Heaven Switch. Never gonna happen. Maybe it'll happen in a few years. I don't know.
I wouldn't
but
say
that
never.
is-
Yeah, I don't think it's nearly as unlikely as they're making it sound.
I don't know. I feel like Rhythm Heaven. Yeah, we got Megamix as but I don't think Megamix did very well from what I recall, and I just don't see Nintendo treating that as an active, high priority series. I just don't. I don't know. I really hope it does, but I don't think it's going to happen. And if it does, it's probably not going to happen until next year or a couple of years.
I would say the only thing really working against that is that the reason they haven't really done them is because the main vocalist of the Rhythm
Yeah.
Heaven franchise is suffering from throat cancer.
Exactly.
And so I think you probably
yeah.
have to take care of that back first, yeah.
And I didn't want to like bring anyone down, but yeah, that's exactly why I don't think it's going to happen. Like, not only do I think it's not a priority for Nintendo sales-wise or marketing-wise, but Tsunku is suffering from throat cancer, which is just the worst thing. So I just don't think it's going to happen, at least not this year. That was it, by the way. Like, that's all I have for my off the wall.
Thanks, Ash.
Yeah, thanks.
No problem.
I'm trying to think of my off the wall one, and I'm not sure.
I think I got mine out of the way. Well, no, I've got one. I mean, I already had Gino out there, but hey, I got another. Stone Race FX car in Smash Brothers.
Oh my god!
Never let that go.
I'm never going.
Oh my.
Until the day I die.
So one thing actually I really want is Camelot arguably made one of their best games in decades, or in a decade, with Mario Tennis Aces. And it's been a while since we've had Camelot in top form, and I think it's time that they bring back Golden Sun now. Now that they're finally making games that I want to play.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Mario Golf.
Right.
Yeah,
anything from Camelot, I'm game for now. Like they have earned my respect.
What would they have to do, though? Because they did try to bring it back with Golden Sun, Dark Dawn, and that just absolutely tanked. So what would they need to do to kind of make it relevant and actually bring it back and have it be successful is what I wonder.
Well, one pillar of Golden Sun is it's always kind of been a almost like a technical showcase of the platform. Like the first Golden Sun made Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire look kind of primitive in comparison. And I think one area where they're focused on is just making it look as beautiful as they can.
Also, the safe thing to do, because it worked for Marth and Roy, is throw Isaac in Smash. Put him in Smash Brothers, there will be a renewed sense of, oh my god, what is that, for that series, and people would probably be more willing to buy it. So
Potentially.
Well, and that is weird too, because remember, Isaac was an assist trophy until he wasn't, and that's just such a strange thing to specifically take out Isaac. Like, and not that I think it means anything, but why though? Yeah.
I've got a couple crazy ones, but before we get into them, I have to, of course. That's the reason you invite me onto these things. But there's one really big first-party game that we completely breezed over, and I think it's going to be not only a huge push for Nintendo, but it's also one of my most anticipated games of the show. And that is Fire Emblem for Nintendo Switch. I cannot wait to see what this game is going to look like on the system. It has been so long since we had a home console Fire Emblem game. And I also think that just based on what the developers were talking about with that game, how they're going to focus on new ways to interact with your favorite characters, this might sound kind of crazy. I think there's going to be some type of dating sim aspect to the game. I think there's going to be something akin to that petting mechanic that was eventually cut from the 3DS games. I think that will come back, and I think they're going to double down on it. And I think it's going to be like some kind of dating sim thing. Why? I'm
disagree.
Curious. I'm curious why.
Because I think most people saw Fire Emblem Fates as a step too far in that direction. The kids didn't make any sense, felt kind of pointless, just did not work out. People want to get away from that. People are okay with the marriage system of Awakening, but get away from the kids. So maybe some aspects of your dating sim, but not going full dating sim. I think they're going to get away a little bit, at least a little bit, from the whole waifu aspect of that Fire Emblem has become, even though that is a very popular aspect, but they still want to keep in that core fan base. And I think Fire Emblem Echoes treated that very well. I really do like what Echoes did for the franchise, even though it's just a remake of Gaiden. But I also like the production values of Echoes are amazing. So transferring that voice cast, even though it's not the same characters, but the same vocal quality, the same like animations that game had for the specials and everything that was going on, like the way the battles flowed together, it was so well done and impressive looking on the 3DS. And I think they're going to try to go for maybe something a little bit more classic while like keeping what made people like about Awakening, but maybe not doubling down on what maybe drove the series a little too far in one direction.
We're going to have to agree to disagree, because I really do think they're going to double down on the waifu stuff. I really do. Because Fate sold incredibly well, and even though like the hardcore Fire Emblem fans were against it, I think ultimately, as you could see from Fire Emblem Heroes, where they make all their money off of like a New Year's skin of Camilla, I think they're going to double down on that. I mean, that's how
they could sell DLC that are just costumes for your waifus.
Sure,
but they don't. That doesn't necessarily mean they have to double down on the whole dating aspect. If they want to get into actual interesting conversations, that's fine, but it's just, I don't think they're going to go that way.
I agree with you, Roger. I hate to say it, not that I don't like agreeing with you, but because
No,
I don't
yeah,
want them
yeah.
to double down on that angle. I don't think they're going to go as far as what you're saying. Like, I don't think we're going to see petting, because that caused such a hullabaloo with, like, treehouse localization, and just that was such a mess with Fates. I don't think they're going to go that hard on it, but I don't think they're going to step away from it either. Like, I mean, it's kind of as you were saying, hardcore fans don't want it,
Right.
but the masses do, unfortunately. Like, the casual, waifus and husbandos, they sell, period.
Yeah, which is why I wanted to go back to the dating sim thing, because I think that is going to be their way around the petting thing. I don't think petting from Fates will come back. I just think they're going to double down on the waifu stuff by, like I said, incorporating maybe some new type of dating mechanic through the support conversations. I actually agree with the idea that the game is going to be a lot more classic feeling, like that the main gameplay will be classic feeling, but I think actually they can even cut the kids out of it. But I think the marriages and the support conversations are going to be as waifu heavy as ever. And I think the main girl in this is going to be someone to rival Camilla. So
Oh God.
Well, and I kind of think just the very existence, you were talking about Fire Emblem Echoes,
Right.
Derrick, and I think its existence almost sets that up. Like, I feel like that sets up the main series to keep, kind of leaning heavily into that waifu angle, while they have what could end up being a Fire Emblem Echoes series, kind of leaning more heavily into the hardcore, the straight-up experience that hardcore fans want without the waifu kids marriage angle. So I feel like they might be setting up, an Echoes series, because they did talk about, I think back when Echoes came out, they insisted on calling it like Fire Emblem Echoes, obviously Shadows of Valentia, but talked about how there may be a Fire Emblem Echoes brand going forward. Right. So I almost feel like they're setting them up to be two separate things.
And did that game sell well?
That I
don't
can't remember.
know.
Because if it did, I would expect another Fire Emblem Echoes at some point.
Yeah.
It came out at a weird time, It's a 3DS game in 2017. Yeah, it's 2017, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it was an excellent game. I mean, the problems it had were problems that were with the original game, but they fixed it as much as they could, and I thought it was a very fun one. And as far as their remakes go, the next one in line is the prequel to Thracia 776. I'm trying to think of the other one, but that's all right. It's that game, a very, very popular one, is the next up in the Echo series, and I can totally see them doing that next. So, Genealogy of the Holy War, that's what it was.
Okay.
And then another Fire Emblem related prediction, a couple of them actually. One, I think graphically it's going to look really nice. I think people are going to be surprised by how nice this game looks. I think a lot of people are used to the characters with no feet from Awakening and the weird, obviously it looks cute on 3DS, but I think it's really going to be a beautiful game. I think they're going to go all out with the fact that this is on a home console again, while still, keeping the things that made the portable games great. I think there will be some type of online feature, whether or not that's something like the camp from Fates is yet to be seen, but I think there's going to be some type of online feature, and I think they are going to go all out with a special edition for this game. I think it's going to have like a CD. I think there's going to be like new Joy-Con colors that are released alongside of it. I think they saw that it worked with Xenoblade last year when they released that big special edition, and they had like the special Xenoblade Pro controller, and I think they're going to do the same thing with Fire Emblem. So
Right.
Yeah. I mean, there's no doubt that at this point, Fire Emblem is one of Nintendo's A-list series, so I do think they're going to go all out for it.
Yeah.
Do you reckon the map is still going to be sprite-based, Roger?
I think they're going to be anime-looking sprites. That's my guess. I don't think they're going to be the little pixelated sprites. I actually think they're going to be like little anime character hand-drawn sprites.
Like Disgaea style or something?
Disguise style, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I really hope that they go for the art style from Echoes. Like I said, visually, Echoes, and just presentation-wise, Echoes is, to me, such a high bar of the series, and if they can transfer that to the Switch version, I will be so happy. Because art style, music, voice acting, just everything, even the animation's just so good. If they can get that in on the Switch version, I will be a very happy fan, and we'll see what else they have as far as what they're going to do to change up this game.
Yeah.
And it's great because with Fire Emblem Echoes and the new game coming out, they have 2 games to draw new Fire Emblem characters from for Smash. I expect a minimum of 4 new Fire Emblem characters from both Alm and Celica, and then like 2 characters from the new game.
Honestly, I
go.
feel like both Celica and Camilla would be great. And I'm not just saying that because one of them's my waifu, but I genuinely believe I think a mounted character would be really neat if they had like a character on the back of a mount, whether it was like a paladin or a wyvern rider or something. That would be very different for for the Fire Emblem characters who all basically just use swords, except for Robin and Corrin a little bit. And the other thing is, too, with Celica, the way she uses magic in the game, she hurts herself. So they could maybe implement what they did with Pichu in Melee.
Oh,
where,
yeah, people
Pichu
would
hurt
love that.
No, but I'm saying do it in a way that would actually make sense for the game. Like, do it in a way that isn't just something stupid like Pichu, but actually make it a cool part of her moveset where she could, like, constantly be hurting herself but also healing from pulling from the other characters. I think it'd be really neat. So, and people love Celica. So, I wouldn't be
people love
surprised
Alm
to
as
see
well.
Celica.
Like they're very they're fan favorite characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, okay, enough about Fire Emblem. Let's get into why you guys invited me on. All right, the crazy, out there, bizarre predictions. All right, first one. The producer of Wave Race said,
Oh my god.
expect
Oh, man.
Wave Race in the future, that the series is not dead. I think we are getting a new Wave Race game announced for Nintendo Switch, releasing this year, and I think it's going to have Labo integration with the little
motorcycle
accelerator thing. Yes.
Yep.
So I think
Wow.
that's one. I think we're going to
Man.
get that Wave Race game announced and released this year, and I think we're going to see
I
it
would
in-
love that.
Please, yes.
Feel
I would
good
love
hit
that
of the
so
summer.
much.
Because it was weird that the producer just said that out of nowhere. I wouldn't have said
it was.
this if he didn't just say, oh, well, maybe don't expect the franchise to be dead. We might be working on something. And then to see the little accelerator thing in Labo, I'm like, all right, this is a done deal. So,
You know, to kind of support that point too, like the Waveverse is the kind of game I feel like you wouldn't want to hype up months in advance anyway. Like it's a game you'd want to come out shortly. You know, I don't think it has too much street cred these days.
yeah.
So I think it's something they could show it off, be like, hey, it's coming out in the next month or two, right?
Yeah, they could
And-
announce that as like one of their August titles or something. Or
Yeah,
if
bingo.
they want, they could throw it in December and give us a nice cool breeze of summer during the cold winter months. So who knows?
No, that's when you bring back 1080 snowboarding.
There you
Yeah,
go.
there
Right.
you go. There you go. So Wave Race was my most reasonable of the three crazy ones.
Oh, wow.
All right.
Oh man, if that's the most reasonable.
That's the most reasonable
Here we
one.
go.
Here we go. Custom Robo is coming back. I think we're going
Wow.
to get an online enabled Custom Robo on Switch, and I think they are going to tie it in with a Custom Robo character in Smash Brothers.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I think
No way.
Ray 01 is already an assist trophy. And again, as we brought up on the Smash conversation, Sakurai was looking into making a character with a rifle who also looks like a robot. And some people could say that's like Elma Skell, but I think it could also be a Custom Robo character. And so I think we might see a revival of Custom Robo. That might be one of those crazy, out of nowhere things that nobody expects, but I think we might see Custom Robo. And finally, all right, here's the big one, all right?
That wasn't the big one.
No. Batten down the hatches. This is going to be the craziest one that I've ever done, all right?
Oh my god.
Here it is. Ready? You kind of already brought it up a little bit. You brought up 1080 snowboarding, but here's the thing.
Oh boy.
1080 snowboarding, but it has a hub world where you walk around a ski resort. It's got skiing in addition to snowboarding. It has all the characters from the Wave Race game that's going to release this year that'll all be thrown in there. It's going to be a shared universe, and it's going to be their big January title. So if Wave
Goddamn, I
Race
love
comes
that.
out in
That
August,
is-
we're going to get 1080
Wow.
in January.
Shared universe.
I love the shared universe as that might be my
exactly.
favorite part of all of it. It's just the fact that you.
I want it. I
shared
want it
uni-
now.
I do. I want it. I'm all about this.
This is the most
mean-
ambitious crossover.
Yeah, seriously.
That's it.
Take that,
All they
Infinity
need to
War.
After
do.
you're-
Hey, Fortnite is on Switch now. They could throw Thanos in there. Who knows?
There you go. Hey,
There
there
you
you
go.
go.
See, after your custom Robo prediction, I just want a custom Robo near Automata crossover. After that flaming custom Robo meme that just was
God.
that was amazing. I would it'd be amazing.
I think you're thinking Chibi Robo Ash.
Oh, sorry, yeah, I'm thinking Chibi Robo. My bad. I was just like, yeah.
Oh, I've actually got a prediction for Chibi Robo. I've got a prediction for Chibi Robo. It's
New
dead.
platformer.
Nice. Yeah, no, it's funny. The whole time you were saying custom Robo, I was hearing Chibi Robo. I'm like, oh yeah, duh.
No.
Good job,
Chibi
Ash.
Robo's dead. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, wait, your prediction is Chibi Robo's dead.
That's my
I think
prediction.
it's
Yeah,
pretty,
it's dead.
I think that's
It's
a pretty safe one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, for my crazy prediction, I said I didn't know what the Konami's other Switch game is. I'm gonna say maybe it's a brand new Castlevania game. Mess with the Bloodstained fan base. or mess with the Bloodstain release.
If we're saying there's going to be a Castlevania collection, Simon Belmont and Smash, and a new Castlevania game, in addition to Season 3 of the Castlevania series, which just got renewed, then oh boy.
It's like basically Konami and Capcom looking at these new the creators going out and be like, screw you, we're gonna keep these actual series going like fans want.
So, I'm sorry, I actually lied. I forgot there's something we haven't talked about, and it kind of goes in the theming with an off-the-wall prediction.
Okay.
So I want to ask you guys, there has been some discussion about this, some rumors flying around, and it seems off the wall to me, but there are rumors that Bandai Namco are working on Ridge Racer 8 exclusively for the Switch. Do you think that could really bear out and become a real thing at E3? Are they going to announce that?
Sure.
I hope so.
I think it's possible. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility at all.
Well, just because Ridge Racer's been gone for so long, I mean, it feels, and they had Ridge Racer Unbounded and the Ridge Racer, whatever the Burnout clone was. Like, Ridge Racer's been off the rails for so long now. So that's why I guess it kind of feels almost impossible to me.
But it also fills a niche. There's not really any arcade racer games.
Exactly. I miss arcade racers, and that would be the perfect way to bring those back. And the Ridge Racer series does have a history of having each new one be exclusive to a console. 6 was exclusive to Xbox 360.
Yep.
7 was on PS4. I kind of feel like there could be something behind this. I think we might see Ridge Racer 8 announced.
Plus, having it being developed for Switch would keep the budget lower than another console.
True.
So that could help.
I could see the clip from the Nintendo Direct in my head right now where Bill Sherman's like, the next game from one of our third-party publishers. It's Ridge Racer. Ridge Racer.
Yeah, I can totally see that. Yeah.
You know what I want now is a Ridge Racer car in Smash Brothers.
Oh my
Oh man.
In the style of Stunt Race FX.
There we go. Hey, there
Yeah.
we go. Perfect.
We talked about Sega Ages earlier. That's something I would love if they brought over Daytona.
Oh, yeah.
Oh man.
Daytona.
I do want that at least as a song in Smash. I think that would be amazing.
Heck yeah, that'd be great. Put it on a
Oh, man,
Sonic.
you could make your own Labo car you sit in and replicate the Daytona arcade setup with 8 people all racing in little Labo cars and their switches.
Oh, nice.
That actually brings up a good point, Andre, though. We haven't talked about Labo at all, and that's probably for a good reason, but do any of you expect to see any new Labo-related announcements at E3?
This is not the place
I don't
for
either.
Labo.
Nah.
I don't think Nintendo's done with Labo, but I think we won't. I don't think we'll see it at E3.
Yeah, I agree.
The only possible exception is if it's like an optional mode in a game, but even then, I think that's a huge stretch. So.
Yeah.
Well, Yoshi, I think, might have some type of Labo support, and Wave Race, too.
And I
Those
do,
are the two.
of course.
Yeah.
Wave Race.
And I don't think I didn't think Yoshi would be at the E3. So there we go. It all makes sense now.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm curious, I know you talked about it a little bit at the beginning, and I know we're sort of nearing the end now, but why exactly do you not expect Yoshi here when it's listed on the fiscal reports as 2018 as one of the games we know we're getting? What about it is
those
making you question?
reports don't mean anything. It reflects the last thing they said. That's all they reflect.
But I mean, they had TBA for Metroid Prime and for Bayonetta and stuff. It just
Because they haven't been announced. They haven't been given a release date yet. Whereas
no, it just seems weird.
I don't know. I'm just my gut reaction is I'm not feeling Yoshi this year. And since we know they're not focusing on games this year, that means it probably wouldn't be there.
All right.
So I think it will be an early next year title. If we see it in a direct later this year.
Yeah.
I think it's had some developmental issues, is my guess. Otherwise, it'd be out by now, or we'd have heard more about it rather. And yeah, I don't know. I'm just not feeling it. It's not jiving with everything else we know about E3 for me. But hey, I could be wrong. So
We will see Yoshi in New Super Mario Bros. For Switch, and nothing more.
Here's what'll happen is they will the new Yoshi game will come out in Japan and Europe this year, like in August or September or something, and then the US will get it in like May of next year.
Oh, I can see that. I can actually
Woolly
see
World.
that. Yeah.
but we
Like
can play it
just
now
that game
anyway,
took
so.
forever to come out here in the US, so maybe we'll do that again. Yeah.
All right, is that all our predictions?
Katamari Damacy coming to Nintendo Switch 2018.
Jesus.
Oh my god.
That's all of my predictions, yeah.
You actually have to rotate the Joy-Con. In fact, there's going to be like a little accessory. Put the Joy-Cons inside the ball and just roll the
course.
ball as a
You know,
controller.
why did you just even... I actually really want a motion control gyroscope Katamari game now. Andre,
yeah.
why did you
There you
even
go.
put that into...
Dude,
That would be awesome.
Just use the Pokeball Plus controller.
That's
Hey,
it.
there we
Oh
go.
my god. Yes.
Even better.
You can like jump with the little Poke button or whatever they have on it.
Yep.
There we go. This is not making too much
Yep.
sense. So
Yeah.
I would rather use that for Katamari than for Pokemon Let's Go.
I'm gonna use that for Dark Souls.
There you go. Perfect.
That has to be a video now. My God, if you can
Yeah.
play a game with it.
Perfect.
All right. Derrick,
The
you
only
got
the
something?
only last thing I have to say, and it's super minor, we don't have to talk about. I think we might see a preview of the story DLC for Xenoblade Chronicles 2. That's
Yeah, good call.
Yeah, a good call.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, here's a final way to wrap it up. What's your hype level at for this E3 right now? How are you feeling compared to past years? Where are you at? I guess 1 to 10. Roger. All right, no, we'll hold Roger. Derrick, where are you at in hype?
I you know what? I think I'm going to put myself at about a 9. I think this is going to be a really
9?
good E3.
Dang. All right, how about you,
I
John?
think it is going to be a really good
sorry.
one.
I
How about you,
think
John?
Smash alone makes it pretty high. I'm hovering between 8 and 9, so let's say 8.5.
All right.
Honest-
Real quick,
Okay.
that was my number as well, so I'm right there with you,
Okay.
John. How about you, Ash?
I'm at a just because of, I mean, there's so much, but Smash alone, like you just said, that carries a lot. So I'm actually at a 9.
All right, Roger.
11.
Finish us off
I'm at
here.
11.
11.
And let me explain why I'm saying 11. Because
It's that shared universe.
well, yeah,
That's
of
what-
course.
that's
If we
what you're
get shared
hyped for.
universe, Wave Racing 10, no. Here's why it's 11. My 3 favorite franchises of all time are Super Smash Brothers, Metroid, and Animal Crossing. If everything goes right during this E3, we could potentially see a trailer for the next Metroid, a teaser of Animal Crossing, and a blowout of a Smash Brothers game that is coming this year. Additionally, if I was going to fill out my top 3 to a top 5, I would throw Pokemon and Fire Emblem in there. And I am pretty sure we're going to get more on Pokemon and Fire Emblem. In fact, we already know Let's Go is going to be on the show floor, and Fire Emblem will probably be blown out during this E3. There is literally no better lineup for E3, and not even just talking about Nintendo. If you look at everything else that's going to be at this E3, there's like a One Piece open world game that Namco's working on. We've got Death Stranding is going to be at Sony's. We're probably going to finally see gameplay of that game. Kingdom Hearts 3, which I've waited half a decade for, is finally going to come out this year, presumably. I mean, even just something as small as the World Ends With You remake, like that's coming to Nintendo Switch. World Ends With You is one of my all-time favorite video games. So seeing an HD remake of that coming to Switch, and we'll probably be able to play it on the show floor, I mean, this is literally the best possible E3 for me. I cannot get more hype from here. And again, it could all come crashing down, but I feel like worst case scenario, just for my own personal tastes, it's going to be a 10. Like, I already know it's going to be a perfect E3 for me. So,
I take it back. I'm at a 9 now. Roger's hype. Elevated.
Yeah, I know. I was
it's
just going
like-
to say Roger's enthusiasm is infectious. I'm actually thinking about it through some of the lens of what you're saying, Roger. I'm actually at a 10 because I was thinking about how Mega Man just got a new amiibo announced, which is super exciting, and I feel like that could play into like maybe some new presence, you know, some updated presence he has in Smash. Plus, if Ridge Racer 8 does happen, like that's a series I'm passionate about, and Smash in general. So yeah, the more I think about it, I'm at a 10 for it. I mean, yeah, it's a 10.
I mean, Dragon Quest XI is going to be playable on the show floor. I'm excited.
Right, I mean,
is
if
it going
we're
to be?
bringing in all companies, I mean, like Kingdom
Yeah, yeah.
Hearts 3, like you said. I
Yeah.
mean, if we're bringing in every platform, yeah, it's easily a 10 because Kingdom Hearts 3, we've been waiting half a year for this, or half a decade, sorry. So, yeah.
I just want to say that I can't believe we are just mere days away from playing the new
Oh
Smash
my
Brothers
God,
game.
man.
Mere
know.
days away. Except for you, John. I'm sorry.
I know.
So close.
I can't believe it.
Yeah,
Must be
I'm
nice.
excited.
Oh, sorry, John.
It's okay. We'll tell you how awesome it is to play it.
That's totally the same.
We'll have a whole discussion devoted to just talking to John about how it is to play Smash Switch.
About how much it has to suck not to be able to play it. Yeah. All right, I think we're about done here. Roger, where can people find you
you
at?
find me on YouTube, on Twitter, on Instagram, and on Twitch at RogersBase. If you're going to follow me anywhere, go follow me on YouTube because I will be uploading live reactions to all of the press conferences that I care about. So it's going to be Microsoft, Sony, Square Enix, Ubisoft, and Nintendo. And I will be at the show, so I'm going to record a lot of footage. I'll be playing Smash Bros. All 3 days. Sorry, John. Just because of the way that I scheduled out everything. So I'll be at the Invitational on Tuesday. On Wednesday, I have my appointment with them. And then Thursday, I have my ticket. So, yeah, there's going to be a lot of Smash content, a lot of live reactions. If you want to get hype with somebody, I think I'm probably your guy. So, as always, thank you for having me on, man. This is always a blast. This is a highlight of every year being on the E3 prediction thing for GameXplain. So.
Thank you so much, man. We love having you on.
Appreciate it.
So,
yeah, thanks.
This has been, I can't wait. It'll be great seeing everyone at E3. And if you want to see even more from E3 from us, make sure to click the subscribe button below, as well as follow us on Facebook and Twitter. You can find links to those in the description below as well. And with that, thanks for watching, and of course, stay tuned for lots more from E3 and everything else right here. Catch you later.
Wave race!